Hey, good folks, it's Dr. Charlie here. Today, I want to talk to you about the importance of connection. This was not one of the things on my original list, but of course, it's very important. I just got off of a video call with one of my mentors. I mean, she's a friend too, friend and mentor. And it was just so affirming. It's affirming to connect with people who know you, who know who you are, who know things about you. Part of the reason this is so important for me is always because I notoriously move a lot. For instance, I am taping this in Arizona, where I currently live, but 6 months ago, I lived in Atlanta. And a year before that, less than that, I was in Atlanta less than a year. A year before that, I lived in Savannah. And before that, I move a lot. So we're not place stamping these things. One of my skills is, first of all, how to sit down in a place and get situated. But also, I usually collect one or two or a couple people in each place. So part of my connection is a veritable web. My connection is I got people all over the country. I got people all over the world as well, actually. But it's always so important to have these people who see me and affirm me, and we can have lunch or coffee or tea or ice cream together, or we can just kind of sit in companionable silence if we need to. These are also people who we can have brainstorming sessions and like strategy sessions together as well. So there's a wide variety of people that I'm connected to. They not only do they see me, they push me. They push me to be better versions of myself. They push me to continuously grow, and kind of molt, shed skin that no longer serves me or works for me. And that's so important when you're as nomadic as I am. Having these connections really makes all of the difference. So though I didn't know anybody when I moved to Arizona, and I do that a lot too, where I'll just kind of plop down in a place not really knowing anyone. I don't necessarily recommend that for everyone. That's kind of a very specific skill set to have. And it's one that I have cultivated for sure, just simply because I move so much. But the connection has been so real. I remember that I used to be super suspicious of Facebook and social media as a whole, probably 10 years ago at this point, because I didn't understand how that could feel like real connection. And then I am connected to specific groups, I would say. The women I did my master's program with, we have our own group. And it is the next best thing to, it may be the third best thing. In person would be my first preferred, and then like a video call. And we do periodically have video calls with each other, where I didn't understand that either, where I was like, isn't it just like talking on the phone? No, there's totally something completely different about connecting in video. And I'm learning that as I'm doing these videos as well. Just as a medium of connection, but it seems to be a genuine connection. It's also important to me to have face-to-face connection as well. My default is kind of like, I can do this myself, I can figure that out, when it really is better in with company. I remember writing my dissertation. One of the women in my cohort, she was my writing partner. We had sort of similar topics. Of course, the further down a dissertation line you get, the more perhaps your topics may diverge, even though they might have been right next to each other when you started. And the sessions, we would have writing sessions together, and the sessions were much less productive. We might be sitting together for like 6 hours, and we might both, maybe not both, but one of us might get maybe an hour and a half of actual work done. And what I discovered was it was better. It was better to be sitting with her and pretending to write and maybe really doing other things. But it was better to do that together than it was to do that by myself. When I wrote my master's thesis, I did that in strong isolation I call them thesis marathons, where I'd be writing for, I don't know, 12 or 14 or 16 hours a day. And it was terrible. I mean, it was absolutely awful. And I would not have human contact for weeks, for meaningful human contact for weeks at a time. So then whichever poor unsuspecting soul asked me how I was doing kind of got unloaded on, because they got everything I needed to say for the last 3 weeks. And it was awful. And so one of the commitments I did make with my dissertation I went right from my master's program into my doctoral program. So one of the decisions I really did make was that I had to do the writing process better. And part of that was not doing it in isolation. I have spent a good part of my life sort of being an island of one. And honestly, it's time for me to not be an island of one anymore. Maybe not be an island, and certainly not of one. There needs to be other people. There needs to be community. And community can be virtual space. Community can be getting together in person for lunch or tea or ice cream. And community can be being able to make a phone call to somebody who will answer the phone or who will call me back when they're available or able, and really just, kind of bouncing things off, really listening, really being seen and heard are big things for me. So I encourage you to find your community. That's what my mentor encouraged me to do. She said, for you, I want you to find your community. And that has been increasingly important to me, where I'm sort of tired of doing all of these things, notoriously independent, but tired of doing all of these things all by myself all of the time. So I'm inviting community in. And when you invite it, you get it, even if it doesn't always look like what you think it's going to look like. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Be connected to real people in ways that are meaningful for all of you. All right. Take great care, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye now.